It
What
really
I
is.
don't like about the Hollywood thing is, why do we have to Hollywood it up? So you got a guy like
Sure.
Travis Walton who has this incredible story that I find very credible,
Yeah.
and the story's incredible. To me, why not just write down word for word what he says, shoot it right out of his mouth, right off the deck, exactly what he said? Is that not fantastical enough? Nope.
Sure.
We got to make it more fantastic. And I don't like that, because I think that taints what people think about this community, because then they're like, oh, that's outrageous. Well, did you hear the real story? Because it's not quite as outrageous as that, but it's amazing nonetheless.
That's interesting. Yeah, I especially if you're Travis Walton, like I get it from his perspective. But I will say this, Fire in the Sky, when I was growing up, was one of my favorite movies. It still is, and as far as UFO, movie or alien movie, whatever you want to categorize it as. I've always loved that film. I thought it was well shot, well acted, like the story was intriguing, and it got me interested in the topic of learning about it. So it could have some net benefits, but I hear your point. If the story would have been told in exactly like Travis Wall, would it still be as memorable in my mind? That's definitely a possibility. So like I get what you're saying for
It's supposed to
sure.
be a true story. So then why not
Sure.
tell the true story? If you want to make
Yeah,
a
I hear
fiction
you.
thing and do that and play it up, awesome, fine, go for it. But why do you have
Sure.
to misrepresent the guy?
That's a
And
fair point.
I think that's
Yeah.
not. I think that's disingenuous as well.
No, that's a fair point for sure, man. That's definitely a fair point, without question. I think I think everything serves a different purpose. The hearings, podcasts, YouTube videos, a Hollywood narrative of whatever, whatever it may be, a conference. These all serve different purposes to some extent, and you know, for instance, we have Joseph Kaczynski and Jerry Bruckheimer working on a film right now with David Grusch as a
Right.
consultant, right? And this is the guy that did Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
He's doing the F1 movie that's coming out this summer with Brad Pitt.
Yep.
And now he's going to work on this, like in the theme of All the President's Men. And
Spielberg's doing one.
And Spielberg has a film coming, exactly, like in kind of the era of Close Encounters, right? And in fact, I have a theory. I think secretly this could be a sequel to Close Encounters, and I think the guy that Wyatt Russell, who's Kurt Russell's son, the actor, he could be the little boy from Close Encounters, all grown up.
Cool.
And I don't know why. I think that just something about it is, I don't know, something is interesting, but I just think I like that. I like that it gets out. It's
Each of
and
these
they're
things
both
are moving the
trying
ball
to take
down
it
the field.
seriously.
I
Yeah,
agree.
they move the ball down the field.
Yep. It's opening all
Yeah.
people to the possibility of these things, and get you thinking about it. And then maybe they're a little more open. Maybe they're a little, and
Well, if
maybe
the interest wasn't there, this wouldn't get the funding.
100%.
Right. So that shows me, there's a huge interest, and Hollywood knows it, that people
You're
are
not talking
interested
about
in
minor league guys there. You're talking about the
exact,
very, very
literally
top
the
ball.
best.
Yeah, right.
the best. Absolutely. I mean, I'm just like, holy. And then you have people again, David Grusch consulting with Bruckheimer and Kaczynski's production, and allegedly, I don't know if it's true, but Elizondo potentially maybe helping with Spielberg's, or they've definitely got to have some sort of consultants working with them. And yeah, I'm just like, okay. And again, they're taking a serious approach to this, both of them, to this topic. I don't know. That just shows me there's interest in the topic being taken seriously.
Agreed. And even Close Encounters, as you know, I mean, that really does ring true to the folklore in the community. I mean, that's
Such a good film.
Spot on. I mean, that
so good.
Makes you feel like he read some books or he interviewed somebody that, you know what I mean? So that film rings true, and it at least sticks to the narrative that does exist among contactees.
Have you ever heard what Whitley said about the movie that was made about his story with Christopher Walken? Has he ever that?
As a matter of fact, I have. Yeah, there are things he does not like about that for sure.
Yeah.
And again, they did it a little bit different. Why not do it exactly out of his mouth? I mean, it's exciting enough to think that somebody from another
Why
world
change this stuff? Yeah, totally.
You don't have to embellish. This does not need embellishment. It's the most incredible thing that could happen to a human being. I don't think we have to embellish it. I actually did really
Sure.
like that film when I was young and I saw it. I thought that was great.
Yeah, oddly enough, I still haven't yet to see it. I never saw it
Christopher
growing up for
Walken
some
plays
reason.
Whitley, and it's really
I
cool.
know, and I love Christopher Walken. Like, I don't know how I haven't seen this movie. I didn't see it growing up. I just didn't even. I don't know. I don't know. It
It
just
has
slipped through
that
the
one
cracks.
moment, man, where that alien gray head and the fingers are like on the door and it like wraps around and it just comes around the corner and you're like, damn,
Oh
man.
man.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
dude.
It's great.
I love Signs. I don't know. What do you think of that
Yep.
story?
Yeah,
That's
I
kind
know
of an
that film with
interesting.
Mel Gibson and right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan. That's one of my top, UFO movies too. Is Signs. I just love the way that plays out. It seems. I don't know. There's something real about it, but not all the way. There's some, cheesy stuff in it, but I don't
But
know.
things that
Just the
ring
way it kind
true,
of plays
sure.
out. Yeah, kind of just the way it kind of settles in slowly and builds on something like that. Even though there's all these stories around from people and everything, right? There still could come a day where there is, we're waiting on humanity to provide disclosure, but one day aliens could provide disclosure on their own.
Well, that's the
And
argument people make against that
right,
is because if they wanted to be, they wouldn't be so clandestine. They would reveal themselves tomorrow morning. They can land it on the White House lawn if they wanted to.
sure,
That's a good
sure,
argument. I
yeah,
get
no,
that.
I agree.
Yep.
But they could do it. They could still make that. What if it's scheduled for 5 years from now? Like, it just hasn't happened yet. Like,
We
they
don't
are
even
going
know
to
what
do
their
it.
concept of time is,
I
you
mean, that's
know?
a good point. That's a great point.
It could be to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that in 1,000 years, which is 5 minutes to them.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
don't know. It's such an
Sure.
unknown, so it's kind of difficult to speculate about. But there's also folklore that a lot of these Hollywood movies are trying to sway
Sure.
humanity's viewpoint on this. Going back to the 50s, they thought that this
Yeah.
was purposely set up to see how we would digest this and think about it. I mean, think about how kids must know about aliens and UFOs now way more than our parents or great grandparents or anybody did. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
who doesn't recognize an alien head now? I mean, that anywhere on the
Everybody.
planet they would know what that is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's
Well,
another
it's in video games. It's in children's books. It's in, kids
just
movies. It's
40
in
years
adult
ago,
movies.
not a
It's
thousand
yeah.
years ago. 40 years ago, it was not.
Yeah.
You would show
Correct.
that to somebody, they'd be like, "What is that?"
Correct. No, you're right. You're 100% right. And I don't know, maybe there is something like to desensitize us to some extent. And to some extent we are. It worked. Even if that wasn't the intention, that is part of that did happen. We
Yes,
are
because if
some
it
of us.
happened now, my mother would even be able to go, "Oh, did you see an alien landed on the lawn?" You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
recognizes what that is,
Sure.
and it came out of a ship, and she would know that, where just 40, 50 years ago, it would kinda be like, "Wait a minute, what's going on?" It'd be a lot more
Sure.
shocking and whatever. I think that it's an interesting thing to ponder, right?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.